Hello class and welcome to week 6 of our course. For this week we will be focusing on aging advocacy, where in this module we will address the role of advocacy in the aging network. We'll also learn about the basics of advocacy and public policy in action. So as it relates to your assignment overview for this week, we have another discussion forum. As it relates to policy and the aging workforce. I think many of you have selected this topic as your policy that you will be covering for this course, so this should be a very engaging conversation. And after you read this module's textbook reading and review the NCOA website, address the following question in your initial post. Should there be a mandatory retirement age? Why or why not? Please post your initial post by Thursday midnight, your time zone, and then provide a response to 2 of your peers by Sunday at midnight. We've already gone over the discussion rubric in previous videos, so take a look at that to jog your memory as it relates to how you will be graded for the course. Next stop is your assignment 6.2, which is an advocacy letter. In this assignment, you will create an advocacy letter and reflect on advocacy in the aging networks and the role that advocacy plays in your personal and or professional life. You will also consider the role of advocacy with respect to the aging related policy issue that you are exploring for your final project. So let's take a look at the guidelines for this assignment. For your advocacy letter, here's your guidelines where you will again develop an advocacy letter, and reflect on advocacy in the aging network. What is the role of advocacy in your own personal and professional life? And consider the role of advocacy with respect to the aging related policy that you've been working on for your final project. With that said, you will first need to review Chapter 7 in the Aging Network, a guide to programs and services in the National Council on Aging website, the Advocacy Toolkit, and the Public Policy in Action website as well. Then you will conduct a brief and basic internet search to locate additional background on popular advocacy formats and examples of advocacy correspondence. For example, the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network often uses email advocacy letters to engage policymakers in discussions around improving quality of life for cancer patients and their family caregivers. So that's an email campaign that you can use as a format as well. Further, you are advocating to Congress. You will likely use a different format or structure than you would if you were advocating to your local area agency on aging. So keep in mind that the letter is a title used loosely to describe advocacy. There are other forms of utilizing advocacy letters to engage policymakers both on the local, state, and federal levels. So you would need to identify any aging-related topic of interest. I would encourage you to use a topic for your final project because at this point in the week 6 of the course, this is a topic that you spent the most time with, and this is also the topic that you have the most information on. So instead of selecting a completely new advocacy topic of interest, I would encourage you to use the topic that you've selected for your final project. So using the tools provided to you by the NCOA website, develop a 1-page advocacy letter to address the following. It needs to address the audience, determine who the letter is going to be sent to, the format and structure, determine the best format and structure for the advocacy letter based on the audience, and then the purpose, what are you hoping to accomplish by writing the advocacy letter. Lastly, as an appendix to your advocacy letter, reflect on and address the following in no more than 1 to 2 paragraphs. That is 1, the strengths and weakness. Discuss the strengths and weaknesses of the advocacy letter as related to the aging network and policy in general. Explain your thinking and reasoning Why should we use this format? What are the great positive aspects of it? What are some areas of improvements that you feel need to be highlighted? Your personal and professional reflection. What role does advocacy play in your personal and professional life? And lastly, advocacy in your final project. What is the role of advocacy with respect to your chosen policy issue for your final project? Explain your thinking and using examples. A simple example would simply be utilizing this letter and then sending it to your congressman or woman, or even your local board of supervisors, or even your local councilman or woman. That would be something that is a low-hanging fruit that you can include as a part of not only your final project, but also this assignment as well. So in this assignment, be sure to consider the role of advocacy in the Aging Network as well as the public policy in general. This is the rubric and how you are going to be graded for this assignment. Again, your actual advocacy letter should be 1 page. However, your appendix needs to be between 1 to 2 paragraphs to cover all of this information that I've gone over as a part of your guideline. I'm going to strongly encourage everyone, again, to utilize the critical elements from the rubric to develop your narrative, in addition to organizing your letter. When you actually submit your letter, you can remove the critical elements from the letter and then submit to your congressmen and women if you choose to utilize that method that I suggested or recommended earlier in this recording. So audience, format and structure, purpose, strength and weakness, personal, professional, role in advocacy, advocacy and final project, and then articulation of response. You'll be graded whether it's proficient or needs improvement or it's not evident. So this is a very black and white assignment, or black, white, and gray, however you want to, you deem to describe it. My whole point in making that statement is to say you either are proficient in the critical element for this course, or you need improvement, or you're not. So please work accordingly, utilize your rubric to guide your responses and to guide your organization of your narrative. Please provide citations where appropriate. But do keep in mind that depending on what you're going to be using the letter for, you can feel free to email me and I can help you organize the letter to help you give some feedback and with regards to how you can actually send the letter to your congressmen and women. Or you can, again, do research utilizing different advocacy organizations. AACR is another advocacy organization. That's the American Association for Cancer Research. My area of research is cancer, so I'm more familiar with the cancer networks. But however, if you would like to utilize this letter to inform your policymakers about the issues that are going on within your own personal community, I am more than happy to help guide you with respect to packaging your letter together and to sending it out to your legislators. Well, with that said, that is the end of this recording for this week. That is your week 6 assignment overview. If you have any questions with regards to the rubric or the guidelines for this particular assignment, please do not hesitate to reach out to me via email. Have a great week, everyone. Take care.